It's 2022! Anyway, it's 2022 and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a flip through of my completed, meaning I haven't finished like 3 pages, but let's just consider it completed. I finished this copy of The Diarist from September to December 2021, and guess what? I turned it into like a magazine of sorts. And so in this video, I'm gonna share with you a flip through of this journal as well as 22 journaling ideas that you can try this coming year. From media recaps, to book ideas, to lists, to unusual prompts that you may not have thought of, to personality tests. Let's get started as I share with you all the different ways that you can challenge yourself creatively when it comes to journaling. So this is my copy of The Diarist. I got it in September of 2021. I would say my journaling style is really a range of using prompts and ideas and creating different layout iterations. I kind of consider my journals sort of like a analog magazine, if that makes sense. I really love creating layouts, and so I'm gonna share with you a couple of those in this video. I also thought about like, hey, I wanted to show you a completed The Diarist flip through, and I think this is the perfect opportunity to show you that. So I worked on this journal for approximately 4 months, but as of this recording, I'm actually still finishing a couple of pages. I think it expedited when I decided to do December daily, so I'll show you a couple of those as well, and let's get started. First up, you can do a goals and highlights spread like this, or actually if you read closer into the text of this is actually a journaling history sort of page. I wanted to open with this because I made The Diarist and I wanted to segue like why I wanted to make it and why journaling has been an integral part in my creative process. So this is a mix of collage, of photos, as well as different elements that sort of surround the page, but generally it's really all about celebrating how many years I've been journaling and what my journey has been so far. So that's something you can incorporate into your journals. Next one, we have, I would say this is like a very specific media recap. This is a music-themed recap or media page featuring posters, screenshots, albums, and whatnot. So this was my full like folklore Jack Antonoff phase, and so I decided to create a spread based on folklore, the Long Pond studio sessions. I took some screenshots. I printed out, Bleachers just released their album during this time as well, so I printed that out. I also sort of put together elements that reminded me of folklore, you know, coffee, brown colors, black and white, photos, and so it came out with this. There's also a touch of typewriter text, so I used my typewriter to type out lyrics from Bleachers and Taylor Swift songs. Basically, this page is actually a page about my weekend non-negotiables. So as you can see, there are labels like these. These are actually stickers included in The Diarist. So onto the weekend, I wrote like things that I usually do on the weekends because they don't really change from time to time. They're mostly the same things. I just do them on several different Sundays or Saturdays, and it would be nice to have a little checklist so that you can refer back to it every time you're like, wait, what am I supposed to do this weekend? So having this really helps establish that routine. Next up, if you haven't yet, maybe it's time to work on your Techo Kaigi page. I've been so confused with Techo and Techo, and I think Techo is the right one. So Techo Kaigi page is basically a page of your 2022 lineup or whatever journals and planners you'll be using. So I created this during our journaling hangout sometime in September or October, I think. So I really like drawing out the journals, and so I wrote also the main usage of them. I try to create spreads that sort of complement each other in some way. So if this is going to be text heavy, the left side is full of like collage elements and colorways that sort of reflect and complement the right page. So we have a green brown situation going on in this spread. Next, I want you to think about how you can do a monthly recap. This recap sort of summarizes the things that happened in September. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 sort of like subjects. And so from those 6 things, I started to flesh out different events that happened during that month. Having this sort of recap sort of establishes your month, and maybe like having a regular spread of it builds a routine, and that's something that you can definitely explore into. You know, apart from recap, you can also do a little check-in. So this mental health check-in, this is actually a page that I sort of picked out based off of this. And then this quote, I took a screenshot from one of the newsletters I subscribe to called Ask Polly. Sometimes I just allot like a full page, not much stationery, just writing about, you know, life so far, mental health check-in, how am I feeling for that specific time period. And it's nice to have those pages every once in a while because it really gives you time to look inward and be more internal with your thoughts and how you're feeling and how you're really feeling. You know, sometimes you don't get to express that as thoroughly, and having a page for that really helps, you know, get things together. This one is something that I tried to do. I don't know if I successfully worked on it like action point wise, but this is something you can also consider since it's the start of the year. So this one, I created a page to switch up my routine. So this is more of like a framework of how I want to do that. As you can see, I like doing lists. So what I did was, on the left side, I put in my non-negotiables every day. So you have a cup of black coffee, 5 to 10 minute meditation, a well-planned day, daily tarot practice, or drawing cards. So these ones on the right are little plans that I wanted to do. And so I also put in a quote by Franz Kafka, which I got from Mason Curry's newsletter. It says, "Time is short, my strength is limited, the office is a horror, the apartment is noisy, and if a pleasant, straightforward life is not possible, then one must try to wriggle through subtle maneuvers." So I really like that quote. It really sums up my life, I would say. Next up, of course, how can we not forget? I try to put in weekly horoscopes. If I remember, I don't force it, but usually I get from the cut, so I copied one for this specific week. And then on the right are actually notes from a book that I recently read. So, you know, you can have those. And I just like putting it out because it's a for the week ahead prompt. And then, you know, when I journal for that specific week, I can look back on this and read about my horoscope. So with regards to this layout, I also wanted to bring it up that this is kind of what I call like the graphic left text right format, where I create a collage or some kind of KV, we call it KV, key visual, on the left side of the page, and then the right side is kind of like a reflection of that. This one is a page I wanted to quickly share with you. It was more of like a free format page, but I would say it's a personal growth page because this was the time where I was slowly getting into moon cycles and being more mindful, and also like studying a bit more about astrology. Now, this is something that you don't have to do, of course, but it is based on your own personal preferences. So I started to fill out information about the different phases of the moon. I was also considering, you know, writing stuff out and seeing my growth on every new moon and full moon and how that works out in a span of a year. Another thing that I wanted to show you that doesn't really require a lot of internal thinking, but maybe taking up tests online, is, you know, a personality test spread. So this one, I recently discovered this 𝚋𝚘𝚒𝚘𝚘 test, and so I took it, and these are my results, and I decided to write them out and also did a little reflection. So from 𝚋𝚘𝚒𝚘𝚘 to MBTI to what else? Enneagram. You know, you can definitely have this ongoing personality test theme if you have no idea what to journal about. So if you're the type who journals at night, then you can have a page called Winding Down. I don't do this as often as I want to because I have a personal journal to actually write about my day. It's more like a summary of the week that was, and, you know, good things about the week. You can also write about bad things, you know, things that sort of like made a memory in you or like etched something in you. And so having a page like that really helps sums up the week and, you know, make way and make space for the new week that is coming. So on the right side, we have a similar layout, and this is another prompt that I wanted to share. This is a morning reflections prompt. Now, in contrast to winding down, if you want to journal in the morning, you can also use this space as like a reflection, avenue for reflection, you know, writing stream of consciousness stuff. If you're into morning pages, you can also definitely get into that. But for me, I have a separate journal for that. Having like a little exercise into writing, or like writing a full page, is also something you can definitely try, because it really brings out a lot of, you know, creative writing skills, and also like allows you to express more, which is something we really want to do when it comes to journaling, you know, self-discovery and writing your own story. This one is actually a quote log. I did not realize this until I took a double take at this page, spread rather. So on the left side, we have a photo of hometown cha-cha-cha. This sea photo from La Union was actually a film photo that I took, and I found that it sort of matched this blue theme going on here. I didn't go ahead and write like reviews or stuff because I had a separate review journal for that. But here on the right, I also finished a book by Sally Rooney. It's called Beautiful World, Where Are You? And so I wrote down a couple of quotes that I really loved from the book, and it's something that I want to keep looking at and rereading over and over again. So having it here sort of marks that. And so you can definitely do this in some of the books, films, or TV shows, or music that you've listened to, song lyrics. Totally doable and totally a great idea for journaling. So if there's something special that happened in a specific day, I would do like a daily recap page. So this is something like that. So I think this was 4th of November, so I put 4 there. And so I printed out a little collage of what happened. So this was a rare time that I went out of the house because we had to shoot for my book. So I did a little log over here. You know, I've been trying to also not fill up pages too much, so this is one of my attempts for that. You know, little elements here and there. Spot the Kermit. I don't know why he's there, but I put it there. I wanted to keep this page light and easy, and like, oh, this was what happened during this day. You know, nothing really fancy, but it gets the word across. So if you don't want to do a daily recap, you know, this right side, I actually have 2 prompt ideas here. On the upper right, there is a monthly report, which sort of highlights 5 things that happened in a month. And then here at the bottom, there's thankful for this, which is sort of like a gratitude list. So I like to do lists and do like 5 in the list. So I think that's like my comfort zone. 3 is too short, you know, too little. 10 may be too much, so 5 is my go-to, I would say. And so this one is based off of Everyday Explorer's 29 prompts stamp set. So I usually use that if I run out of prompt ideas. So this is the stamp set that I'm referring to. It's currently one of my favorites. I use them a lot because there are so many different prompts that you can use, and if you run out of ideas, you can just, you know, get this and call it a day. So as I mentioned, monthly report, and then I just divided the middle part. So I did this during our November journaling hangout. So there's a bit of a mix of everything in between, you know, collage, you have doodles, drawings, stamps, stickers, and my main theme going in here is something that is color-coded. You'll notice that a lot of my journal spreads are color-coded, and that really helps me establish a look and feel if I feel like everything looks so cluttered. So if you're running out of ideas into like, okay, what happened this past month, then I suggest doing a consultation with, not a therapist, your planners and your journals, and see, like, review them, what happened, and then write them down here. It really always helps to consult and look back on the planners and journals that you've used for that specific time period. So here are a couple more pages. You know, they're mostly like repetitive ones based off of, based off of what I've already done. So I'm not gonna talk more about that. But this is another gratitude spread, but this one is more focused on an essay style. So if you don't like lists, you want to do essays, you can also try out this format. I try to do a mix of both because I love doing both. So this was a little small business Saturday spread. So here are my December daily pages. I used Job's printable, so I'll link them down below. And I really wanted to experiment on I would say like if you're doing a daily prompt, this is like daily 2 days in a page. So that's my takeaway from this. I wanted to do that because I can't commit to journaling daily on an A5 size journal. So I realized this was actually the best compromise for me because this is the way that really makes sense to me as someone who journals not daily. But this is a tarot spread. I wouldn't say it's a regular tarot spread that I do, but I really wanted to experiment on this because this is the last, I think, the last new moon for the year, if I believe so. So I played around with that. Fast forward to what I really wanted to show you, this one. This is another prompt idea that you can do. So you can simply do a spread of letters and notes from friends or from loved ones. So I try to a lot, like if someone sends me a note, it has to be on one page or one spread. I have something similar here. These are actually notes. Oh, this is the only note though. And so I wanna, you know, preserve them somehow, especially small ones that fit my journal. So this is something that you can definitely try. And apart from sticking those in, you can also add in your own stickers and letters and doodles. And so that's what I did for this. More December daily pages. So I really like to write about daily recaps, if you've noticed. And this is something that I want to do, especially for days that bear certain level of importance for me. If not, I would do a mix of, let's say this one was December 13, 17, and 18. And I just pick out 3 key days from that week that really stood out to me and had a lot of events happening at the same time. So my Christmas spreads are here. We watched The Grinch. What was I gonna show you? This one. This is my only attempt at drawing, but I tried. So here on the left is the other journaling idea that I wanted to share with you. So this is a food log, and so my little boo-boo is that actually the 𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘 pen that I used here, the sailor, it bleeds, so I had to stick in a lot of things here on the left, on the opposite page rather. So these are drawings of food that I've eaten. That was a lot over the past holiday. So I used the 𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘 sailor pen to draw, and then I used the pentel touch in dark blue, I don't know, or blue-black to write out the food, and I did like a little script situation, so I did that there. And because I wanted to contrast it over to the right with like something simple, I just stuck in the 𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘, am I saying this right? 𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘 packaging that I got from my order. So I've probably mentioned this before, but I really like having color-coded spreads, as you can see here. So this one was something that I shared in the year-ender journaling ideas video. So color coding does not have to mean it has to be the same color, but these are all warm colors, so I tried to get into that. This is all like greens and a bit of yellows and browns. So this is a bonus. You've probably also seen this already, but if you want to do a media recap like this, then go ahead and do it. Or if you want to simply make your journal a media journal, then I am totally in full support of that. I wanted to quickly show you another thing that I recently worked on because it may be something that you can derive ideas from. So you have washi favorites. These are not part of the 22, but you can also do this as well. I've done this last year, I believe. So I tried to list down a couple of my favorite, you know, washi swatches, and then where I got them, or like a little story about how I got them. And I realized I haven't done that for the holiday washi, and so I got a lot of my washis in Japan a couple of years back. And I don't know, when you buy holiday washis, you don't end up buying more. You just end up using the same thing every year because you only use it once a year. So these have been with me for like 5 years and counting, and I really don't mind. So one thing I wanted to show you, maybe something you can do every end of the month, or if you had like a big haul, is having this like haul page. I don't know if it's like healthy to do that, but it kind of helps you like see how much you've spent. I didn't write the prices, but I wrote the things that I got because I'm very particular with like my items and my inventory, if that makes sense. So here on the left, I have the Amazon receipt. I like keeping the Amazon receipt for some reasons. I just stuck it there, and then I added in a couple more stickers that were from the packages that I got. So some were given to me, some I bought, so I wrote them here. Sample inks as well. You know, just having a running list here really helps close out the month, or at least the specific time period where you bought certain stationery. So lastly, this last prompt I want to show you. This is called the Proust. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm just gonna put it on screen, but this is the Proust questionnaire. This was a last minute idea. Okay, hear me out. So I was watching Schitt's Creek the past holiday break, and then I ended up in like a whole deep dive into the characters and into Dan Levy interviews. There was this one video where he answered questions, I think it was like 36 or 35 from the Proust questionnaire. So I decided to use that. I was like, wait, this is actually a decent journal prompt idea, but it's a lot of questions. So I would suggest like doing it in a span of a month. So what I did was, because I wanted to be extra, I used my typewriter to type out these questions on collage paper. So I got these from a collage book so that they would have a different colorway. And so I stuck them in on these pages, and then I answered them as well as added decoration. So I'm not done, but this is a spread that I already finished. I have a couple more questions here, but you know, I would suggest really having this as like a start of the year thing, because it would be nice to look back and see what you answered and maybe take this questionnaire every year, because it helps you really identify what your values are, what are important to you, what your current goals are. And you know, it's super simple. Like for example, what is your idea of perfect happiness? Perfect happiness doesn't seem possible, lol. But for me, my idea of perfect happiness is quiet mornings, really good coffee, creatively inspired. You know, I am very particular with things like these, and so having a way to reflect on them is really crucial for me. I also like being asked questions. I don't know if I'm just one of those people, but having this is like a really great avenue to do that. It's like answering 73 questions with Vogue, except this is like 36, and it's not time pressuring to do so. So yeah, here are a couple of more of the spreads that I've done. So I also vowed to like not make everything too like straight. I mean, technically the pages are dotted, you just don't see them that much on screen, but it's easy to refer back to them when you have to write something. So yeah, these are my 22-ish prompts, ideas, and journal spreads that you can get inspiration from. This one is another 21 things in 2021 that I did to close out the year, and I created a graphic out of this. So I just used bond paper for this. That's why the paper looks very bluish. It has that cool tone. So that is it for this video. I do hope you picked up 22 ideas for your journaling. Now, I don't really want to tell you to get a copy of the diarist, but if you have a copy, then great. If you're planning to get a copy, then also great. But I would say like you can try out any journal that you want for all these creative journaling ideas. And if you'd like to join us monthly, I do host journaling hangouts over on my Patreon. We have a tier called the Diarist tier, and that tier really helps us helps me organize for monthly journaling hangouts. We also do a lot of different journaling prompts on there, and also it helps everyone get challenged creatively because we do it all at the same time. You can also get access to replays, and it is the best way that you can support me and this channel. So make sure to head to patreon.com/abbyc to check out the tiers, and hopefully I'll see you at our art club. Make sure to also follow at alwaysbecreating.art, because every month we have journaling prompts that we put out every start of the month so that you can get inspired to write on your journal, decorate on your journal, and document every day. Not every day, document your life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Always be creating. Bye!